Hi, students. I welcome all of you once again to the General Science lesson number 24, Substances, Objects and the Energy. So let's recall once again whatever so far we have learnt in this chapter. So students, in the last lecture, we have conducted one small experiment. So what we have done in that experiment, we have took small pieces of the charcoal and then we have pounded them. So when we pound the charcoal, then this charcoal pieces, they got finally converted into the powder format. Okay, so that means what I can say that over here, whether you take the coal or whether you take the sugar candy, so when you crush it completely, so after crushing it, it completely converted into the small particles. So that means what? Can I say that the all the substances which we see around us, they all are made up of very tiny particles. So that means we can see that lakhs of particles are present in the small substance. Are you getting my point? So whatever substance, like for example, you must be thinking that what all substances. Like for example, let me tell you that if you take pencil, chalk, then paper, then wood, wheat grains, iron, copper, coal, they all are made up of fine particle. And if you remember, the discovery of this fine particle was made by the scientist called as what? Kanad Maharshi. I told you that. Again student, one most important thing over here, these small particles, although they are very small, in return, those small particle, again they are made up of lakhs of particle which comes together and they form the small particle, and then that small particle, it is visible to us. Generally the small particle, it is not visible to us, but if it is visible, then that particle also, it is made up of lakhs of particles. So just imagine that any type of the substance which we see around us, all are made up of very tiny small particle. Are you getting my point over here? Now students, what you see here, this is the naphthalene ball. Am I right? So where we use this naphthalene ball? So mostly we use this naphthalene ball in cloth, right? So students, you must have seen that over here, naphthalene balls are usually kept in the warm cloth after ironing them. Am I right? But you must have noticed that after some days, why do the cloth also smell like the naphthalene ball? You must have noticed that naphthalene ball has got particular odor, right? So if you place the cloth along with the naphthalene ball, after few days our cloth will also get the same odor like the naphthalene ball. Now my question is that why like that? Any guesses why our cloth also smell exactly like the naphthalene ball? Any idea? No? So let's see that over here. Why our clothes smell like the naphthalene ball over here? So students, let me tell you that over here, naphthalene ball is continuously being converted into the small particle and it is turning into the gaseous state. So that means what student? Naphthalene ball, it is in the solid format. Am I right? So this naphthalene ball which is in the solid format, what is happening? If we keep the naphthalene ball in the open atmosphere, when naphthalene ball comes in contact with the air, this naphthalene ball, it is directly converted into the gaseous state. That means the solid particles of the naphthalene ball, they are converted into the small particle of the gaseous state, and then the gaseous small particles from the ball, they got settled down on the cloth. Are you getting my point? So that's why our cloth too smell exactly like the naphthalene ball. So now this must be the one of the important give reason question. Okay, give reason why our cloth also smell like the naphthalene ball. This is the important question. So now did you understand the answer? I repeat here once again, naphthalene ball, they are usually in the solid format, but when this naphthalene ball, they are kept in the along with the cloth, these naphthalene ball, they are converted into the gaseous format. Okay, and the gaseous particle from the naphthalene ball, they get settled down on the cloth. So because of the small particles which are settled on the cloth, our cloth also smell like the naphthalene ball. Understood now? And student, most of the time you must have noticed that this naphthalene ball we not only use for the cloth, but also this type of the naphthalene ball we also placed in the toilets, right? But why do they become smaller after a few days? Not only the naphthalene ball, even in toilet we keep odonil also. Am I right? So even that odonil wrapper, when you keep in the toilet, you notice it after few days, or let's say for an after 1 week or after 2 week, notice that sachet, odonil sachet you notice, and after 1 week or 2 week you will see that that sachet will be completely empty. Why that so? Even naphthalene ball also we keep in the toilet just for the good fragrance, right? So after few days they become smaller and smaller, and finally they disappear. Why? Because the reason is that, student, as I told you, this naphthalene ball they are in the solid format. This naphthalene ball they are being converted into the gaseous state, right? So as the particles leave the naphthalene ball, as the particle leave the naphthalene ball and they convert into the gaseous format, and that's why the balls grow smaller in size, and as a result slowly they disappear. Same thing exactly happens with the odonil sachet or naphthalene ball if we keep in the toilet. Okay, so even that odonil sachet that also comes in the contact with the air, slowly that is getting that gets converted into the small particles of the gaseous thing, and again as it is converted into the particle format in the gaseous state, and that's why the size of that sachet becomes smaller and smaller, and slowly it disappears completely. Now students, did you understand that why exactly our cloth smell like the naphthalene ball, or why the naphthalene ball which are kept in the toilet they disappear finally and they get smaller in the size? Okay, so this is the exactly reason. Okay, now student, what is this here you see? Now just Diwali festival has happened, right? So now you must have seen that during Diwali everybody used to draw the rangoli in front of their houses, right? Now you must have seen that, student, this rangoli it comes in the different colors, right? So students, you must have seen that the particles of the rangoli are fine and they are also like the flower. Am I right? So you must have seen that the rangoli it is also in the particle format, right? So even can I say that the rangoli is also made up of many particles which we cannot see, we can see them. So even that small particle of the rangoli, again it is made up of lakhs of particle. Can you imagine that? Okay, so if the and you all know that rangoli is available in different color format, as you can see that over here, right? So even the rangoli is available in the different format, and the even rangoli as it is in the solid state, it is also available in the different format. Understood? So student, let me tell you that over here from this experiment we saw that not only the solid particle, also the gaseous particle and the liquid particle all are available in the different state, and all the different three states of the material they have also the different type of the particle. Okay, so as you can see that the state of the substance. So here we are going to take the example of the water. Okay, so here you can see that the water it is basically found out in the three states, that is solid, liquid and the gaseous. So these are the three states of the water. You all are well aware about that. So this is a solid form of the water, this is a gaseous format of the water, and this is the liquid format of the water. So the water basically exists in the all the three states, and even the particles are present in the liquid state, particles are present in the gaseous state, and even the particles are present in the solid state also. Now you must be thinking that how exactly these particles are arranged over here. So let's see that over here. So as I told you, in all the three states the individual particles of the water they remains the same. The particle of the water it will remain same, but the thing is that, student, the arrangement of the particle it is different in the different state. So like let me tell you that the water has the same particle in the solid, liquid and the gaseous format, but the arrangement of that particle it will be different in the solid format, it will be different in the liquid format, and it is going to be different in the gaseous format. How is it? Let's see that over here one by one. Now look at this. What is this? Ice. This ice it is present in the solid format. Now look at the arrangement of the particle. All the particles, they are very close to each other and there is no space between the particle. Am I right? So this is the arrangement of the particles in the solid format. Understood? So whatever material we see around us which is in the solid format, all the particles, they are very close to each other. Okay. Now look at the water particle. So this is the liquid format. Here we took the example of the water. So the particles which are present in the water, they are little bit away from each other. Like solid particles, they are not close to each other. Okay, so there is a distance between the particles, right? So these are the particles of the liquid. Understood? Again, look at the gaseous particle. As you can see that over here, here it is a water vapor. You all know that cloud is made up of water vapor, right? And this water vapor, it is present in the gaseous format. Now look at the particles of the water vapor. The water vapor, they are away from each other. So if you compare all of them, the particles of the gases, they are very away from each other. The particles of the solid, they are very close to each other. Understood now, students? So the arrangement of the particles in all the three states, it is different, but the individual particle type, it is going to remain same. Okay, so students, always remember that as a result we see differences in the properties of the solid, liquid and the gases. So because of the distance, because of the arrangement of the particles which are away from each other or if they are close to each other, the properties of the solid, liquid and the gaseous state, it will also differ. Like all the substances in the nature have the different particulate form, that is they are made up of the particles. Okay, so in nature every substance occur in the specific state. Let me tell you that over here. So according to the substance, according to that substance, it is called as whether it is a solid, whether it is a liquid or whether it is a gaseous. So let me tell you one example. For example, let's take an example of the aluminium. So aluminium and the coal, okay, it has a particular shape, so they will come under the solid category. Kerosene and petrol and even water, they doesn't have particular shape, they occupy the shape of the container, so they will come under the property of the liquid. While nitrogen and oxygen, they are comes under the category of what? Gaseous. So aluminium, coal, kerosene, petrol, nitrogen, oxygen, they all have the different property because they belong to the different state. Okay. So students, what we have learned today? We have again learned that over here, because of the different substances and because of the different property, the substances also have the different properties like the hardness, transparency, color, smell and the solubility in the water. Okay, so these are the properties of the substances. So what are the properties of the substances? And this property of the substances, it will change from the one substance to the other substance. So hardness, transparency, color, smell and the solubility in the water. So these are the properties of the substances. So let's see once again what we have learned today. We have learned that over here the naphthalene ball, it is continuously converted into the gaseous format, and these gaseous particles, they get settled down on the cloth, and that's why our cloth too smell like the naphthalene ball. And as a result, these particles leave the naphthalene ball. The naphthalene ball grows smaller in size and slowly these balls get disappear. What else we have learned today? We have learned that the water is found out in the nature in the three states, that is solid, liquid and the gaseous. So as you can see that these are the different state of the water, and in this the arrangement of the particle is different. As you can see that over here, can you compare all the three together, student? So in case of the solid, the particles are very close to each other. Can you see here? In case of the liquid, the particles, they are slightly away from each other. And in case of the gaseous format, the particles, they are very far away from each other. So these are the arrangement of the particle in the solid state, in the liquid state and in the gaseous state. And depending upon this, the properties of the substances, they will differ. So what are the properties of the substances? Hardness, transparency, color, smell and the solubility in the water. Understood? So students, I hope so whatever we have discussed today you must have understood that. So the next part of this topic we will discuss in the next lecture. Bye bye, take care.